Part 41. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 401. Because the Buddha statue is carved from stone, it cannot walk normally. Therefore, this stone statue can only move left and right and move its body. A Buddha statue appears, followed by a second, a third, a fourth. Countless eyes slowly moved down from the second floor. I just estimated the Buddha statues in the entire ancient building. The number of Buddha statues is at least 50. When I looked at these Buddha statues, my expression changed slightly and I subconsciously took a few steps back. But before taking a few steps back, he bumped into the mural behind him with a bang. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I suddenly noticed something that seemed to be on my right shoulder. I turned around and looked around. It didn't matter what I saw. I was instantly startled and broke into a cold sweat. That turned out to be 2 fingers. And these 2 fingers actually stretched out from the mural. It's like crossing a dimensional wall. I quickly moved my feet to distance myself from the mural. But it was still a step too late. 7 or 8 pale ghost hands stretched out from the mural in an instant, tightly binding me in front of the mural. This sudden scene caught me off guard. Strange things happened. I actually feel like I'm sinking. My body is actually merging with the mural. This scene shocked me. He quickly picked up the 9 layers thunder art and struck at these ghost hands. Boom! There were bursts of thunder and flashes of thunder and lightning. A 9-level thunderbolt directly turned these ghost hands into ashes. Losing the shackles of the ghost hand, I resumed my actions and tried to get out of the mural, but found that my entire back was stuck in the stone wall and I couldn't break free at all. Jajaja. A burst of extremely eerie laughter sounded from my ears. I turned my head stiffly and saw a grinning face coming into my eyes. I am very close to this face, almost cheek to cheek. In addition, a ferocious laughter sounded from my left shoulder. Another ghostly face emerges from the mural. At the same time, the Buddha statues coming down from the second floor also came to me. A cold and vicious look appeared on the lifelike carved face. I swallowed hard. If you want to get out of the current predicament, you must break the stone wall. At this time, I suddenly thought of the scene when I asked Qingyang Evil Star to return to the palace. Once the soul-stealing blood hand is used outside, it will be counterattacked by evil energy. But after coming to the world of Sky Coffin, after using the soul-stealing blood hand, there was no backlash. Thinking of this, I closed my left eye, and my right eye was instantly covered in pitch black ink. The 9 eyes heaven realm unfolded, and with the thought, I disappeared directly from the stone wall. When I reappeared, I was already behind the Buddha statues. I picked up the bloody thunder dew and directly manipulated the thunder dew to escape from my hand. The bloody thunderbolt roared in the air like a giant python. There was a loud bang and thunder exploded among the Buddha statues. All the stone Buddha statues were instantly blown to pieces. These Buddha statues just appear suddenly in unexpected places. Apart from being a bit annoying, they are not difficult to deal with. After finishing dealing with these Buddha statues, I opened the 9 eyes heaven realm again and disappeared directly. When he appeared again, he was already outside the ancient building. The ability of the 9 eyes heaven realm is relatively easy to use, and it can move freely within this area. But every move costs me a lot of mental energy. I took a deep breath and walked forward along the gobe. As I walked, the neighborhood around me changed. There were caves one after another in the gobe. I stopped and looked at the caves next door. There are actually Buddha statues in these caves. At this moment, a familiar voice suddenly sounded in his ears. Lu Su, so you are here. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 402. The Double-Faced Buddha of Good and Evil. I turned around suddenly and saw the double-faced Buddha holding a Zen staff and wearing a cassock standing behind me. The corners of his mouth slightly raised into a false smile. I didn't waste any time talking to the double-faced Buddha, and directly opened the Nine Eyes heavenly domain to cover it. The purpose of my coming here is to subdue it and let the evil star return to my life palace. The good and evil double-faced Buddha saw me taking action, but his expression didn't change at all. I directly summoned the secret of heaven and cast the 5 elements talisman. The fire and earth talismans were superimposed together, and huge boulders with blazing fire fell from the sky, hitting the double-faced Buddha of good and evil. There are not many good and evil double-faced Buddhas, so the huge fire boulder is on his body. The moment the flaming boulder hit the body of the double-faced Buddha of good and evil, it exploded instantly, and countless flaming gravels shot out in all directions. The fire dissipated, and the good and evil double-faced Buddha was intact. I frowned. There was no way that the blow just now could not hurt the double-faced Buddha of good and evil at all. No matter what, he could be hurt a little, but he didn't even mess up his clothes. How is this going? The good and evil double-faced Buddha's eyes showed a playful look. He said, "Here, I am an immortal existence, so no matter what method you use, I will not die." Immortal existence. I didn't believe in this evil, so I used the 5 elements talisman again. The wooden talisman blessed by the water talisman directly penetrated the chest of the good and evil double-faced Buddha. But the next second, the big hole in the chest of the good and evil double-faced Buddha slowly healed itself. This time, I believed the words of the double-faced Buddha of good and evil. The double-faced Buddha of good and evil walked toward me step by step, saying as he walked, "As long as my golden body is not destroyed, I will not die." This sentence reveals the weakness of the double-faced Buddha of good and evil. As long as I can find his golden body, I can destroy him. The good and evil double-faced Buddha seemed to have seen what I was thinking. He laughed and said, "Boy, I know what you are thinking. My golden body is not so easy to find. Even if you find it, you can't take it away, it destroys." Since he dares to reveal this news, that means he is absolutely sure that I cannot destroy his body. The double-faced Buddha of good and evil looked at me deeply, then sat cross-legged on the ground and said to me, "In an hour, this world will come to the real world. By then, we can successfully leave here and let our faith spread throughout the world." After saying this, the good and evil double-faced Buddha slowly closed his eyes and recited Buddhist sutras. The majestic Buddha's voice came from his mouth and spread to the entire world. As the Buddha's sound spread, the whole world began to tremble violently. The next moment, countless Buddha voices rose up from all directions, responding to the good and evil double-faced Buddha. Waves of evil energy erupted from every corner. Seeing this scene, my expression changed slightly, as if something had awakened. As soon as this idea came to my mind, the wind around me was strong. I looked around and finally focused my gaze in the direction of the cave. I saw black mist rising from countless caves. After a while, monks wearing cassocks came out of the cave. I frowned. These monks had no bodies, only souls, and they exuded a suffocating evil aura. This is indeed what I guessed. 1000 Buddha Cave. The entire cave is filled with evil Buddhas. The number of these evil Buddhas is beyond counting. They gathered towards me, and in a moment, these evil Buddhas surrounded me. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Ching Nian Wanbao. Chapter 403. Their faces were gloomy, their eyes were cold, and they were surrounded by black mist. The double-faced Buddha of good and evil stood up slowly, looked around at all the evil Buddhas, and said word by word, "He is the one who locked us up here. The opportunity for revenge has come." As soon as these words came out, all the evil Buddhas exuded suffocating murderous intent. I subconsciously took a step back, wondering why the double-faced Buddha of good and evil would say that I locked them up here. I haven't seen them at all. But these evil Buddhas are like crazy believers at this moment. obeying the orders of the double-faced Buddha unconditionally. I can't stay here. We must find the golden body. Then find a way to leave. Thinking of this, I opened the Nine Eyes Heaven realm. It was during this gap that the evil Buddhas around me rushed towards me like crazy. I can't feel any Buddha energy in these evil Buddhas, only evil energy. I disappeared directly on the spot, escaped the siege of the evil Buddhas, and then ran wildly along the Gobisayazi. I only had 1 hour to find the golden body of the good and evil Buddha. When passing through a cave, a cloud of black energy burst out of the cave. I ducked sideways. I saw a Buddha statue emerging from the cave. That's right, it's a Buddha statue, not an evil Buddha. The Buddha statue was carved from gobi soil. Every time he took a step, he would shake off a lot of sand and dust. Along the way, we passed countless caves. Every time you pass by, a Buddha statue will emerge from the cave. I saw more and more Buddha statues, which blocked my way forward. I summoned the heavenly secret and drew the water talisman. The majestic water surged out from the talisman. In the space of the Nine Eyes Heaven realm, I can control the methods I use at will. I waved my hand casually, and the majestic water instantly turned into one stream after another. Then he attacked these Buddha statues like a cold arrow. In an instant, the whole world seemed like a rain of arrows. The Buddha statue is made of earth, and water can penetrate it directly. As I ran, I used methods to eliminate the Buddha statues in front of me. I don't know how long I ran, but a forest appeared in front of me. How could there be such a dense forest in the Gobi Desert? This surprised me a little. Without thinking too much, I got into the woods. By the time I entered the woods, the Buddha statues following me had disappeared. Even so, I dare not slow down. At this moment, I suddenly felt a sharp pain in my right eye, as if someone had stabbed my right eye with a knife. The strong pain made me stop walking and almost fell to the ground. The feeling of powerlessness spread towards me like a tide. I dragged my exhausted body to the foot of a big tree, breathing heavily. Although using the Nine Eyes Heaven realm, there is no backlash of evil spirits. But long-term use puts a huge strain on my body. Only 2 minutes have passed since I opened the Nine Eyes Heaven realm. Is this the limit time of my Nine Eyes Heaven realm at this stage? Feeling exhausted and powerless, I had the idea of staying here to rest. But thinking of those Buddha statues, I still struggled to stand up. At this moment, bursts of Buddhist sounds came from the big tree behind. I was slightly startled and subconsciously wanted to turn my head. The moment I turned my head, a big hand made of vines appeared above my head. I suddenly dodged to the side, and the big hand made of vines fell down instantly, directly making a big hole in the ground. I looked at the big tree behind me and saw that the thick trunk had been hollowed out, and a Buddha statue carved from wood suddenly appeared in the tree hole. Sky Coffin. Author, Ching Nian Wanbao. Chapter 404. I looked around and discovered that the trunks of every tree had been hollowed out, and there were wooden Buddha statues inside. At this moment, the entire forest began to tremble crazily. The trees swayed, the branches bared their teeth and claws, and countless green leaves fell down like a heavy snowfall. A leaf scratched my cheek, and instantly a stinging pain came from the place where the leaf scratched. I reached out and touched my cheek lightly before placing my hand in front of my eyes. I saw that my index finger was covered in blood. Seeing this scene, my face changed slightly. These leaves are as sharp as knives. Fortunately, the leaves did not fall too fast, so I was able to avoid them. I avoided and ran towards the end of the forest. The moment I took my first step, the trees around me burst out of the ground. The thick and numerous roots acted as my feet, and the branches of the tree rushed toward me like hands. The reason why these green trees can move is that the souls trapped in the Buddha statues have become one with the trees. The entire forest instantly turned into a transformation, and every step I took, the surrounding trees surrounded me. I took a deep breath, summoned the heavenly secret, and drew the fire talisman. Hot fire burst out from the talisman. The fire galloped through the woods like a fire dragon, setting trees on fire wherever it passed. After a while, the entire forest had turned into a sea of flames. Immediately afterwards, countless miserable howls echoed in my ears. I dare not relax and walk cautiously through the sea of fire. In the process of escaping, the hot fire ignited my clothes and burned my skin. Even if I endure the pain of burning my body, I can't stop. Because I know that once I stop, I will probably be trapped in this woods. My eyes were filled with fiery red, and the hot flames made me unable to open my eyes. I don't know how long I ran. I just felt empty under my feet. I quickly opened my eyes. The scene before me made me scream in surprise. Ah! At this moment, I actually fell off the cliff. This is bad. I forced myself to calm down and looked below me. When I saw the scene below me, I breathed a sigh of relief. Because there is a huge lake below me. The cliff is only a dozen meters high. As long as I adjust the angle correctly, there will be no danger when I fall into the water. At this time, my attention was attracted by the surrounding scenery. In front of me is a huge canyon. There is a huge waterfall at the end of the canyon. The cold river water falls from a height, splashing white waves. And in this huge waterfall, there is a huge Buddha statue. The surging water of the waterfall rushes down the Buddha statue. According to a rough estimate, the Buddha statue is about 100 meters high. It is in a sitting position with two huge stone arms gently placed on his knees. His eyes are slightly closed and his face is kind. But at this moment, I suddenly saw that the closed eyes of the Buddha opened slightly. Before I could take a closer look, there was a buzzing in my ears, and I fell into the cold water. I adjusted my body shape in the water and swam quickly towards the water. After a while, I rushed out of the water, breathing heavily. Surrounded by endless green vegetation, I can still see the giant Buddha from this angle. Without any hesitation, I waved my arms and swam towards the big Buddha. Sky Coffin. Author, Ching Nian Wanbao. Chapter 405. That giant Buddha gives people a very unusual feeling. So I needed to go there and take a look. There are thick trees on both sides of the river, with vigorous trees and shrubs covering them. I climbed up along the river. The entire forest was actually filled with rain and fog. The towering trees were almost invisible, their trunks were densely covered with moss and lichen, and the air was extremely humid. Even in this environment, I can still see the big Buddha. Because that big Buddha is simply too huge. I walked on the wet moss and continued towards the Buddha. I walked carefully along the way, for fear of encountering any unexpected situation. Fortunately, nothing happened until I reached the waterfall. The Buddha is in the waterfall, but it is not hidden in it. The torrent rushes down from the head of the Buddha. Logically speaking, it is impossible for the Buddha to remain intact under the impact of such a strong current. But this giant Buddha was intact, and its body was covered with all kinds of vines and moss. Standing in front of this big Buddha, I felt very small. I looked at the eyes of the big Buddha and found that his eyes were closed again. Did I just read it wrong? It shouldn't be. I changed my angle to observe this giant Buddha. When I came to the right side of the Buddha, I was slightly startled. The Buddha opened its eyes again. Wait, there seems to be lights flashing in the eyes of the Buddha. Seeing this scene, I was slightly startled, hesitated, and decided to climb up to the Buddha to take a closer look. I plunged into the rushing river and swam towards the Buddha with all my strength. The water flow was very fast, but blocked by the huge body of the Buddha, the water flow in front of him did not seem so fast. Soon, I came to the foot of the Buddha. I grabbed the vines growing on the feet of the Buddha and climbed up using my strength. Looking at the huge Buddha statue, I took a deep breath, grabbed the vines and started climbing up. After about 3 minutes, I climbed to the belly of the Buddha and then stopped to rest for a while. Then he continued to climb. At this moment, sinister laughter came one after another not far away. I paused and looked in the direction of the sound. I saw a huge shadow on the other side of the sky heading towards the Buddha. I condensed my expression and looked carefully. They turned out to be those evil Buddhas. The evil Buddha in the cave is a soul, so it is not unusual for him to be able to fly. Under the moonlight, the evil Buddha's cassocks moved by the wind, like a pair of wings, and these evil Buddhas gathered together, like a large swarm of bats attacking me. I didn't dare to neglect and speed up the climb. I had just crawled out 4 or 5 meters and the strong wind was howling behind me. When I looked back, I saw an evil Buddha had already arrived in front of me. He stretched out his pale claws and clawed at my chest. I quickly freed up one hand and turned sideways to avoid it. Dodge this deadly attack. At this moment, countless evil Buddhas came to attack. Now, I can't spare my hands to deal with these guys. But dodging like this is not an option. Simply, I let go of the hand holding the vine, closed my left eye, and my right eye was instantly covered in ink. A black barrier instantly unfolded around me. I looked into the Buddha's eyes, my expression condensed, and he disappeared in an instant. When I stood firm again, I was already in front of the Buddha. The Buddha's eye is like a huge cave with candles lit inside. There is indeed an independent space inside this giant Buddha. I slipped into the Buddha's eyes without even thinking. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Ching Nian Wanbao. Chapter 406. The giant Buddha is resplendent with gold and jade, incense is diffused, a faint smoke lingers in the entire space, and lifelike murals are painted on the walls. Unexpectedly, there is such a big Buddhist temple in this big Buddha. Just when I was shocked by the scene in front of me, those evil Buddhas got into the Buddha's eyes and rushed towards me. Seeing this, I quickly came to the stairs and walked down. The scene before me changed again, and this time it shocked me even more. I saw that the entire body of the giant Buddha was hollowed out, with plank roads on the surrounding walls, and another Buddha statue in the middle, just like a Matryoshka doll. This Buddha statue is much smaller than the outer shell, but its size and height should not be underestimated. The Buddha statue is completely black and exudes dim light. Not only this Buddha statue, but the entire Buddha's body was very dark. Compared with the bright lights on the upper floor, white and black have become the main colors here. Even the burning incense candles were affected, turning yellow and gray. I continued walking down the plank road. When I came to the front of the Buddha statue, I was stunned for a moment. Because the appearance of this Buddha statue is exactly the same as the double-faced Buddha of good and evil. The dark Buddha statue in front of you is an enlarged version of the good and evil double-faced Buddha. The Buddha statue holds a Zen staff, wears a cassock, and has eyeball beads around its neck. It has a face that is gentle and generous on one side, and spooky on the other. Could it be possible that it is the golden body of the double-faced Buddha? At this moment, I finally knew why the good and evil double-faced Buddha told me his weaknesses. Because with the current me, there is no way I can destroy his golden body. But I can't back down either. Otherwise, when this world overlaps with reality, millions of living beings in Tianfu City will directly face death. I picked up the bloody 9-layer thunder art and blasted it directly towards the golden body of the double-faced Buddha of good and evil. After the thunder and lightning, the golden body of the double-faced Buddha was intact. Sure enough, this golden body is not so easy to destroy. Tap tap tap. The sound of dull footsteps sounded from the other end of the plank road. I was slightly startled and looked at the plank road I came from. 2 figures in between were walking towards me. When I saw the appearance of the person clearly, I froze on the spot. One's whole body exudes a faint golden light, and the other's whole body is filled with bone-chilling yin energy. The double-faced Buddha of good and evil. He actually split into two people. One good and one evil. The good Buddha clasped his hands together, bowed deeply to me, and said, "You have indeed found this place." The evil Buddha looked at me, his eyes full of hatred, and he said to the good Buddha, "Don't talk nonsense with him, just kill him. We can be liberated." As soon as I finished speaking, the evil Buddha rushed towards me. The evil Buddha's body was filled with yin qi, and the powerful yin qi made me feel chilly. I took a step back, took a deep breath, picked up the 9 layers of thunder and blasted it towards him. The evil Buddha raised his Zen staff and hit me hard. The bloody lightning collided with the Zen staff, and the lightning exploded. The huge impact forced me to retreat. The evil Buddha took off the eyeball beads from his neck and threw them towards me. The 9 eyeballs instantly enlarged in the air and hung above my head with a strong sense of oppression. The evil Buddha waved his hand casually, and 9 huge eyeballs hit me. Seeing that there was no way to avoid it, I opened the 9 eyes heavenly domain and escaped from the range of my eyeballs at an extremely fast speed. The huge eyeball dropped rapidly, smashing the plank road into pieces. So I can only stand on the golden body of the double-faced Buddha of good and evil. As soon as I stood firm, I felt the strong wind roaring behind me. When I looked back, I saw the Buddha slapping me with his palm. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 407. I quickly mobilized the black barrier of the 9 eyes heaven realm to block it in front of me. With a bang, good Buddha struck the barrier hard with his palm. The black barrier of the 9 eyes heaven realm is unimaginably hard. The good Buddha's palm had no impact on it at all. At the same time, the evil Buddha also jumped onto the golden body. Then the good Buddha and the evil Buddha attacked from behind, and I used the 9 eyes heavenly domain to fight back and forth with them. The duration of the 9 eyes heaven realm is only 2 or 3 minutes. Once it fails, I will definitely die. I must find a way to solve all this as soon as possible. At this time, I suddenly remembered what Su Tianxian said to me. If you want to subdue the good and evil double-faced Buddha, you need to use the 9 eyes heavenly domain and the soul of Mount Tai. Thinking of this, I calmed down and placed my gaze on the head of the golden body of the double-faced Buddha of good and evil. The next moment, I disappeared in an instant, and when I reappeared, I was already at the head of the golden body. I took out the soul of Mount Tai and silently recited the method to activate it. When the soul of Taishan recognized its master, I had more activating magic spells in my mind. I threw the spirit of Tarzan into the air. The soul of Mount Tai instantly grew in size and turned into a huge mountain in the sky. Such a huge Mount Tai directly broke through the giant Buddha under the waterfall, and the icy torrent poured down and sprinkled on my body. The faces of the good Buddha and the evil Buddha changed greatly when they saw the soul of Mount Tai. I used the ability of 9 eyes heavenly domain to stand on Mount Tai. At this time, I suddenly discovered that there were countless black shadows in Mount Tai. When I looked closely, I saw that there were endless ghosts. Taishan suppressed hundreds of ghosts, and it turned out that he trapped them in the mountain. However, these ghosts did not attack me, they just looked at me with gloomy expressions. Thinking about it, the soul of Mount Tai imprisoned him. The good Buddha and the evil Buddha instantly realized the danger and rushed towards me. My expression condensed, I raised my hand and dropped it hard. The entire mountain began to tremble violently, and then fell straight down. The originally indestructible golden body shattered under the pressure of Mount Tai's soul. Ah! The good Buddha and the evil Buddha held their heads and howled in pain. The soul of Mount Tai fell rapidly, crushing the golden body below to pieces. Immediately afterwards, the entire stone Buddha statue began to tremble violently and fell apart in an instant. The powerful water poured down, making my body a little unstable. I stabilized my body, looked at the good Buddha and the evil Buddha, and found that the two figures were slowly overlapping. Boom. Taishan landed heavily, and the huge impact caused thousands of waves. I looked at the double-faced Buddha of good and evil, and in a flash, I came to the front of the two men. I took a deep breath, directly activated the soul-stealing blood hand, grabbed his body, and then pulled out the soul. You can't do this. The double-faced Buddha of good and evil lost his usual calmness and howled at me. You locked us up here. We just wanted to get out. What's wrong? After hearing this, I raised a sneer at the corner of my mouth and said, if you go out, you will kill everyone in Tianfu City. As soon as he finished speaking, a bunch of beads exuding a cold aura flew up from under him. When I saw this bead, I was slightly startled. Buddha relics. It seems that this is the fundamental solution to the problem. The good and evil double-faced Buddha began to struggle fiercely. I couldn't hold it firmly, so he broke free from my restraints and flew towards the Buddha relic. At the same time, countless black shadows were coming from the sky. Sky Coffin. Author, Qingnian Wanbao. Chapter 408. The corners of my eyes trembled slightly. There were so many evil Buddhas, how could we deal with them? Seeing that the good and evil double-faced Buddha is about to get the relics, I quickly stretched out my hand, shook it in the air, and the relic appeared in my hand. The good and evil double-faced Buddha turned around angrily and roared at me, damn it. The relic is not big, completely black, and exudes a suffocating chill. The relic is the source of the power of those who practice Buddhism. If I destroy it, will the good and evil double-faced Buddha lose his soul? Thinking of this, I picked up Leiju. Thunder and lightning jumped in my hands, heading straight towards the relic. After a burst of lightning, the relic was intact. Can't be destroyed. At this moment, the double-faced Buddha of good and evil attacked me again. His target is the relic in my hand. It seems that this relic is very important to the good and evil double-faced Buddha. Thinking of this, I looked at the relic in my hand and focused all my mental energy on the relic. Suddenly, a pale ghost hand appeared in front of my eyes and snatched the relic from my hand. I was slightly stunned and looked at the double-faced Buddha of good and evil, and saw that his expression became extremely excited. Ha ha ha! The golden body has been destroyed. As long as the relic is still there, I can complete my plan. The good and evil double-faced Buddha swallowed the relic directly into his belly. The relic had just been swallowed by the good and evil double-faced Buddha, and a powerful yin qi burst out from the good and evil double-faced Buddha. I took a step back. Seeing my reaction, the good and evil double-faced Buddha raised the corners of his mouth slightly, revealing an intrusive sneer. Boy, no matter how hard you try, you can't stop this. I looked at the double-faced Buddha of good and evil with a smile and said, that's not necessarily true. As soon as he finished speaking, a beam of lightning burst out from the body of the good and evil double-faced Buddha. His expression changed drastically, and he looked at me in disbelief. What have you done? I glanced at him lightly and said, I hid the thunder art in that relic. The moment I just thought about it, I used the power of my right eye to hide the thunder dew in the relic. Since it cannot be destroyed from the outside, it must be destroyed from the inside. It seems I did nothing wrong. Boom. There were bursts of thunder, and more thunder and lightning shot out from the body of the good and evil double-faced Buddha. His skin began to crack, revealing light blue cracks. No. I won't lose. I've been waiting for thousands of years. I've been waiting for thousands of years. The relics were destroyed, and the good and evil double-faced Buddha was unable to fight, and his body was disintegrating. He looked at me, his eyes becoming extremely vicious and malicious. Do you think killing me will end this whole thing? I'm not the only one who wants your life. The figure of the double-faced Buddha of good and evil began to become fragmented, countless golden lights filled the air, and then slowly integrated into my body. After a few seconds, the good and evil double-faced Buddha completely disappeared from the spot. and the golden light he transformed completely disappeared into my body. The evil star Dora returns to the palace. At this moment, a sharp pain came from the depths of my mind. The pain made me tremble. Bits and pieces began to appear before my eyes. A man in Taoist robes, holding a long sword, stood between heaven and earth. In front of him were endless ghosts. This man in Taoist robes looked familiar and made him feel very friendly. The scene before me reminded me of the mysterious voice from Rias Hong. The pain gradually dissipated, and the fragmented pictures in front of him instantly collapsed. When I regained my vision, the scene in front of me changed my face drastically. I saw that those evil Buddhas had already arrived in front of me. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Ching Nian Wanbao. Chapter 409. I quickly took action to resist. But there was a sharp pain in my right eye. I know that the limit of my right eye has been reached. I took a deep breath, endured the discomfort caused by my right eye, and tried to maintain the nine eyes heavenly domain. My expression condensed and I disappeared instantly. When he reappeared, he had fallen into the water. It was this operation that also caused me to temporarily lose the ability to use the nine eyes heavenly domain. I swam towards the shore with all my strength. The double-faced Buddha of good and evil has been killed by me, so there is no need to stay here any longer. But how to get out of here now? When I stood on the shore and regained my footing, the whole world began to shake violently. I looked at the horizon not far away and found that the whole world was rising. I was slightly startled. The world in the sky coffin is returning to the sky coffin. We have to find a way to get out of here. At this moment, Su Tianxuan's voice suddenly came to mind in my ears. Lu Su, let me teach you a formula. You can use the magic circle to leave there. There is a connection between me and Su Tianxian. And this connection is the base of blood evil. Immediately afterwards, Su Tianxian told me the formula to activate the magic circle. I no longer hesitated and used the magic circle according to the method Su Tianxian gave me. After a while, a magic circle appeared in front of me. At the same time, those evil Buddhas had also chased after him. Seeing this scene, I didn't dare to slack off, and quickly stepped into the magic circle, muttering something in my mouth. In an instant, the golden light of the magic circle vibrated and enveloped me. The next moment, I felt like the whole world was spinning and I felt sick in my chest. I don't know how long this state lasted. The golden light dissipated and raindrops fell on my shoulders. I looked around and found that I had appeared on the river dam. The rain has slowed down a lot now and is no longer as raging as before. The world suspended in the sky is also slowly disappearing. Came back. Su Tianxuan's voice suddenly appeared in my ears. I looked for the voice and saw Su Tianxian standing quietly not far away holding a black umbrella. Their eyes met, and Su Tianxuan's eyebrows showed a little joy. She came to me, stretched out her hand, and gently smoothed my bangs that were wet by the rain. Thanks for your hard work. Su Tianxian said softly. I smiled at her and said, it's not hard. Before Su Tianxian and I could reminisce about old times, the Daemon guys surrounded us. Their eyes flashed with greed, and there was a strong murderous intent in their eyes. The city god and Diting also came to me. The city god smiled at me and said, Lu Su, have you got the things? I didn't expect these people to be so persistent. I didn't say anything, just looked at him coldly. The city god smiled and said, since you got it, you should give it to me. Give it to the city god. I raised a sneer at the corner of my mouth and took out the soul of Taishan. The moment the soul of Mount Tai appeared, everyone was shocked. The soul of Tarzan. There were exclamations one after another from the crowd. I threw the soul of Mount Tai to the ground and said, If any of you can pick up this thing, I will give it to him. The city god looked happy, and he came to the soul of Mount Tai in a flash. Just as he was about to reach out to get it, he was stopped by Ditang. What? You want to take it all to yourself? The surrounding atmosphere instantly dropped to freezing point. The city god narrowed his eyes and said calmly, whoever has the ability can take it. With that said, the two of them were about to take action. When I saw this, I quickly stopped him and said, wait, don't worry, I told you, if anyone can pick up this thing. The city god shook off Ditang's hand, snorted coldly, and went to get the soul of Mount Tai, but a strange scene happened. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 410. The city god's hand was knocked back as soon as it came close to the soul of Mount Tai. Seeing this scene, the corners of my mouth raised slightly. It seemed that my guess was good. No one but me can pick up the soul of Taishan that recognizes its master. The city god looked at me, a hint of ruthlessness flashed in his eyes, and then returned to his normal look. Unexpectedly, this soul of Mount Tai actually recognizes you as its master. When they heard the word recognize the master, the expressions of the others changed slightly. At this time, I suddenly heard a man say in a low voice, I recognize my master, wouldn't it be better to kill him? The head of the Taoist sect looked at the person who spoke, and said in a cold voice, kill him, and the soul of Mount Tai will return to Mount Tai, and then none of us will get it. When Di heard this scene, he took a deep look at me, then came to me and lowered his voice and said, boy, you really surprised me. Now that the soul of Mount Tai has recognized its master, then you can make full use of it what it does. After saying that, his figure flashed and disappeared instantly. The city god looked at me with a smile and said, ha ha ha. Lu Su, you are indeed the person I like. I can rest assured that Tianfu city god will leave it to you. The city god changed the topic and continued, don't forget that you are the inheritor of the Tianfu city god, and you should always take the glory of the Tianfu city god as your responsibility. I snorted in my heart, how could I not understand what the city god meant? He could no longer obtain the soul of Mount Tai, so he tied me tightly to the Tianfu city god. As long as I am still the heir to Tianfu city god, he can use me at will. After speaking, the city god also disappeared. Seeing that there was no hope of competing for the soul of Mount Tai, other forces all chose to retreat. The fierce ghosts and yin soldiers in the endless hell have all disappeared. Now only the members of Daemon are left on the river dam. The Taoist leader opened his cloudy eyes, looked at me deeply, and had no choice but to leave. General Huo stepped in front of me. His starry eyes were full of approval. You did a good job. I believe that the battle between you and me will come soon. Keep getting stronger, because only in this way will you not be killed by me. A wry smile appeared on my lips. After General Huo said this, he turned around and left. Huashiu leaned forward, opened his mouth slightly, hesitated and shouted, husband. General Huo froze for a moment, and then disappeared into the darkness. Huashiu sighed slightly. At this time, Zhang Shii came to me and took out a small wooden box wrapped in black cloth from his pocket. He took off the black cloth and opened the wooden box, and a cold air spread from the box. A figure slowly solidified in front of me. I took a closer look and it turned out to be Xiaoxin. Zhang Shii smiled at me and said, I'm sorry that I lied to you. Actually, it's not my fault. It was your third uncle who told me to hide it. Third uncle? I looked at my third uncle. The third uncle chuckled and said, I found him not long ago, and then discussed it with your master and set up a trap. Hearing this, I suddenly realized. Zhang Shii did not betray me, and my third uncle was also an insider. It turns out that everyone is silently paying for me. After that, I asked Xiang Yi to take Xiaoxin away, and asked Xiang Yi to find a good home for Xiaoxin. Xiang Yi agreed wholeheartedly. Just when a few of us wanted to leave here and return to Ji Yuntang, a figure emerged from the darkness, blocking our path.